Hello, so, hi again. Fundamental human movements. So we're doing so far, we've done push and pull. So the next one is the hinging pattern. So this is where we bend forward at the hips. So usually when we're doing this, we're picking something up off the ground. So again, it's something we do all the time. It emphasises the muscles down the back of our body. So we're thinking bottom, hamstrings, and back strength. And it's an important movement pattern to get right. Because most of the time when people hurt their backs, it's usually when they're doing a bad hinging pattern. So and usually it's something really silly. So it's not when they're lifting something really heavy in the gym. Most of the times I hear when people pull their backs out, they're lifting up a dog lead or something really small. And it's usually when I'll demonstrate a bad kind of hinging pattern. So we've all done this when we're not thinking properly. We'll bend over, we'll curl at the spine, and we'll pick something up, and usually we'll put a hand on our leg and we'll pick and we'll do that. And you see my back's really rounded, and so it's a really flexed spine. So when we're bending over like that and bending and curling over, the muscles, the big muscles that can support us and do that movement pattern aren't really working, and then we're using small muscles that aren't really designed to do it, and that's when we hurt our backs. Discs do weird things. So when practicing the hinge, it's important to try and keep our spine neutral. So if you look at if I show you a nice neutral spine, so I'm standing up nice and tall, you see my spine's nice and neutral, my head's in line, and when I bend forward at the hips, I'm pushing forward, and all I'm doing is I'm maintaining that neutral spine. So my head's in line with my spine, this part of my back here, my lumbar spine is maintained, the muscles in my back supporting, so I'm doing my hinging pattern like that. Now what I'm thinking about when I'm bending over is I'm reaching my bum back towards the wall. So that's quite a nice little drill to do to practice. So imagine there's a wall here and I'm reaching back. Can I touch the wall with my bum? Yes, I can. Take a little step forward, bend forward again. Can you just touch the wall with your bum like that, coming up and down? So that's a nice way of practicing the hinging pattern. I want you to take a note of what my knees are doing. So in a hinge, my knees aren't tracking forward. I can feel all the muscles down my back, hamstrings, bum and lower back. My hamstrings are a little bit like beef jerky, so when I get to there, that's really hard. So I have to really think about when picking things up and when maintaining that neutral spine. A nice safe way to do a hinging pattern on the ground, if you want to get started with this, is just a glute bridge. Now, I'm sure if you've done any exercising, been in any classes, you'll have seen this exercise. So starting down on the ground and just lifting your bum up on the ground. If you look at my hips are doing that hinging pattern up and down. So that's a nice safe way of doing that hinging pattern. So there you go, that's the hinge. So it's a posterior chain, so muscles on the back of the body and dominant exercise. If you want any help, if you want any tips on doing a nice safe hinging pattern, then let me know. So that's the hinge, our third fundamental human movement pattern.